Does
gets really,
osmosis
really
have
good
any
sun.
protection against UV rays in the wood?
It's no different than any other finish. UV will get you if you put it in the sun. UV will get you anytime. It doesn't matter if it's got protector or not. But Osmo works great. I mean,
Okay.
the wood still turns brown. It still turns brown just like anything.
You know, if we want to make $1 million, we could figure out what coating to put on wood that won't let it turn brown, right?
You'll never ever figure that out. Yeah, Mother Nature takes care of that. You'll never beat that.
Let me
one.
send you the details on the bank routing number. You can send a wire transfer to, and I'll tell you how to solve that problem.
I do. Well, you'll have to produce the product first, Dennis, and then I'll send you the rest.
Actually, what I
Stu.
do is I mix my own pure tung oil, naphtha, and marine spar varnish. And the spar varnish has UV protectors in it. There is also, Krylon also makes a UV resist product. So as another choice as a final coat, as a.
But there you go. You know, you wouldn't be your own surgeon, but you're your own finish chemist. What do you think that's about? How you got?
No, I didn't come up with this. This is out of that magazine that you used to edit.
I know that, and we published and I was always opposed to those articles because they always were taking on. Okay, I don't have to know anything about chemistry, but I'm just going to add some of this and some of that, and call it better than what I had when I just started before. And in almost every case that I've actually observed or tried, it's worse.
I've not had that experience. It has worked.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Works for you.
I tried one time that typical antique oil finish of 1/3 mineral spirits, 1/3
Linseed oil.
boil linseed oil, 1/3 resin, and I didn't have good luck with it. And I'm still looking for a replacement for that old Minwax antique oil in the red can, and I haven't been successful.
I would say Waterlocks is your closest bet.
Waterlocks, okay.
What is the French polish? What is that? I always wondered.
Many thin coats of shellac. My luthier son took a 3-week course in learning how to prepare surfaces for French polishing.
You got to get some arm exercise before you start it, though.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, really?
It's a knack. It's a knack and a skill, and it takes practice. And you can't do it on the fly, get it right. But those mixtures like Shellawax and those other, they come from Australia. Those finishes are French polish type finishes, especially when you spin them on the lathe.
Yeah, and I said, why am I paying PSI expensive when I can mix that myself? It's a shellac and
you can't mix it yourself.
DNA. Yeah, it's a mixture of
you
three
can't
different
mix
products.
it. You can't mix it accurately yourself, and you don't know what's in the things you're pouring in together. You don't know what's being doubled and duplicated, and what dryers are canceling each other out. You can't. Finnish chemists do this for a living. They go to school and get PhDs.
Yeah, but they also work for corporations who want to sell expensive finishes that we can dump in a can together. So.
By the time you add up the cost of all those, you're no different.
I never win an argument with John Kelsey, but I got to tell you, the whole thing is in your finishing strategy, you have to have something that addresses the UV rays. You just have to. If you're trying to preserve the beauty of the wood, it's going to go away. We just all know that.
Nothing. So you put it in the dark. Because as they wrote in the 18th century, the colors flee the light.
Yeah.
So then what you're left with is you go to the chemist down at Krylon and talk to them about their UV spray, which you could use as a final coat to try to give you some degree of protection. The spar varnish also is designed to inhibit UV deterioration of wood. So that's, you thin it down and put it on straight if you want. I don't know. But
well,
guys,
I can show you benches outside my house that are really nice, good cypress wood coated with spar varnish that's all gone gray and flaked off. I mean, the best spar varnish doesn't do anything.
John, cypress, you don't do that to cypress. Cypress, you don't have to put anything on.
Also, cherry. I have cherry. I can show you an oak. I mean, whatever.
All I asked was what to put on a trivet, guys. What I'm wondering is, does shellac work on a trivet? I want to come back to.
No, you,
No,
Shellac,
it doesn't.
shellac will actually melt.
It'll
That's
melt?
the thing. Shellac will actually melt with the heat. That's why
Okay.
Osmo works. And I actually talked to Osmo for, like you say, for the chemistry behind it, because I asked that specific question on at what temperature will it start to break down and melt. And they asked me what I was going to do with it, and I said, I'm putting it on wooden trivets for presenting food right off the
Sure.
stove.
Right.
And they told me that don't worry about it, because as soon as you take the pot off the stove, it'll be less than 200 degrees, because that's boiling water.
Right.
And this stuff is secure up to over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So they said, don't worry about it. So you put it on there, it's not going to hurt it.
well, you're
Well,
more at risk of your glue once you get to 200 degrees in.
Well, I don't glue my trivets or solid.
Yeah.
You're worried about
Well-
the lignin in the wood. He said you'd worry more about the lignin in the wood than you would about Osmo.
Well, there you go, Dennis.
This,
Dennis, you've got a perfectly good pair of examples.
Yeah,
sitting there.
this same tree, 2009, right?
Yep.
This one, which I finished and sat in our dining room for years,
Yep.
never in the direct sun. This one has been in paper bags since 2009.
Yep.
And, so you got to do something.
No, you don't.
So
You just have to
you need
accept
to
it's wood. It's what it does. Or you can color it in with a marker if you want, but
Keep it in the bag.
Got it quick.
you're going to have to sell your products with a special bag with and say to the people, you got to keep it in here. Otherwise, the wood's going
or
to
a
change.
cabinet
I
with
wonder how many-
a little window, and you
John?
push the button for a 1 minute
Yeah,
look.
that's right. It turns the light on.
That's
Once you
like
reach out
telling.
to Chromacraft, and they've got a chemist, and it would be a wonderful addition to the coffee hour. I've talked to him.
Oh, really?
Some color issues. And what I learned from him that stunned me is that the different colors have different speeds at which they deteriorate.
Right.
The one that deteriorates the fastest is red.
Right. And interesting, Dennis, I love red beet eggs. You all know what red beet eggs are? Or is that just something from Lancaster County? Well, you use red beet juice and you put hard cooked eggs in it and let them sit for a day or two and they become red beet eggs. Well, I said, hey, I wonder what kind of natural dye this would be for wood. So I have about 6 different samples of wood and I slopped some on. My daughter-in-law, who's an artist, immediately wrote me, Jim, it won't last long. It's an organic dye. It's going to be gone. Well, it varies on which wood it's on.
Mhm.
One of the woods, I think it was Osage orange, it's almost all gone. But on some of the other ones, it's just laying in my shop, cluttering up the place, but I look at it occasionally. So, anyways.
I
Hey,
think what you ought to do
on
is
the
take
same
good
lines.
photographs of it when it's nice and bright colored, and then enjoy watching it and pay attention to
Yeah.
it as it changes color, and add that to your sensory experiences of wood in your life.
Actually, Stu did an experiment on exactly what you're talking about, maintaining the color. I'll let Stu speak to that because he's been testing it, and after a year.
Hey, well, the Manitoba maple has some beautiful color to it, and
Yep.
it always dissipates. It always goes brown. So I come up with this idea with flood coat. Put a coat on to seal it, and then I put the second coat on. But I'll take and color the areas where the red was and try and match the color, so it try to make it look natural. But I put it on dried epoxy, so it's not on the wood.
What are you putting? What are you using for color? Sharpies or Transtint or what?
Oh, I use the coloring, epoxy coloring.
Oh, alcohol dyes. Is that what it is, Stu?
No, I don't think it is. It's just added colors. You
Oh,
get
you mean powders? Mica powders.
the one that I use is a liquid for the bed. I got a few liquid ones, but I also have the powdered coloring. But I use the liquid one for this, and I just brush it on and feather it out and try to make it look as natural as I can. And then
Okay.
another 1 or 2 coats of clear epoxy over top of it, And that's it.
You know, I would like to. You'd have to do it really scientifically, like check how many light, how much strong the light is and stuff. But I would love to have a real test of these. Epoxy supposedly has UV inhibitors in it. I wondered how much that would help. I know it won't do it good, but how long would it last? You know.
Okay, well, I did some here about a year ago, but I redid the finish on a couple of bowls for Jack McCann, a fellow or a club that he had turned them. I think it was about 2020, and they had all gone brown. They gave them to me. I sanded it back, and I did that procedure on it for coloring. And just, last week I just called him and asked how they looked, and I had done them about a year ago, and
You all froze, or just him, or is it me?
but I actually have a note in my phone to, when it comes up, check color on the epoxy. So that was the one that I really thought would be a good test for it. And after a year, it's been great. So we'll see how it is next year.
Maybe this is a question we can stump AI with.
Yeah.
How do you keep color on wood in UV light? So
It'll tell you to put it in a box.
it's not smart enough to even figure that out. So.
Hey, along the same line with finishes and stuff, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I use depth a lot. And what happens, it's changed names. So it's now called ProLux. I think you can still get it at Ace Hardware. This is where I got mine. And it says it's the same depth formula, new name. And I read the labels on it, and they still come from PPG Architectural Finishes. So just a heads up to everybody, the depth is now ProLux. And I use it all the time, so it's one of my favorite finishes.
Is it a lacquer or what is it?
Yeah, it's a spray lacquer.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of cans of Deft brushing lacquer at the rehab store a year ago or so for $2 a can. I have about 4 of them.
Wow. Yeah.
Bert, isn't that the lacquer that we got from Brian McAvoy?
Yep. Yeah. Apparently we can't get it in Canada anymore. So
well,
there must be some chemistry.
you can get something that has almost the identical formula in Canada now. They said, like when I did some research on it, I think this takeover just took like the rebranding is new. And supposedly that the ProLux brand, Seco supposedly carries that, SICO, which is available in Canada. But there's also another product that is almost identical from a formula perspective to that. I'll send you that info, Bert, if you want. Okay. And the other thing is that the really nice thing about the depth is the spray nozzle has got a really nice nozzle on it, and it doesn't tend to spit.
Yeah. I think
I've been buying my lacquer at Belcher Industrial, and they have a product that's very, very similar to Deft in performance.
So the major difference is Deft is a nitrocellulose, and the one that they have at Belcher is not actually nitrocellulose. But if you ask them, if that's an important thing, because again, formula wise, I think the one that they have at Belcher is very similar, but it is not nitrocellulose, which Deft is. But they will mix a nitrocellulose for you if you ask them. They'll custom make anything you want there.
Okay.
So what's the scoop on that? Like what makes a difference? Like I don't know the chemistry. What does that product do that's different on the finish once it's cured?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I was looking into, why is Deft so highly recommended, because a lot of people really like it, and the difference is the nitrocellulose in it. And I just did all the research and I haven't committed it to memory yet, so.
One of the reasons
I'll send you my notes.
One of the reasons I used to like it when I used to use it a lot is it doesn't doesn't darken the wood as much as other finishes. It helps stays closer to the color of the wood as you're seeing it. It just makes it brighter and it gives it the wet look.
There's a lacquer, I think it's called Maker's Choice. That's that nitrous
Nitrocellulose, yeah.
Nitrous, and I always understood that was a better lacquer than the other stuff you get from the other.
Well, the originals.
Stores.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the chemistry of it. Nitrocellulose is the old lacquer that was in the 30s that made Bakelite and things like that.
Right.
Hey, Bert. This is John. With regard to your trivet, I've been making these coffee cozies, and so it's something that goes on top of the coffee cup to keep it warm. So I've gotten Verithane's urethane exterior clear gloss and sprayed that on there, and it works really nice. And I was really surprised it doesn't smell as bad as lacquer when you spray that.
What is it again, John?
It's urethane, Veritane urethane, and it's a nice spray, worked real nice, and it doesn't smell. And I got the exterior version, and so the bottom of this sits on top of a coffee cup, and picks up all moisture and everything, and there's no effect. It's.
I'm going to have to break in on you because it is Lancaster Woodturners Weekly Coffee Hour, number 281 for December the 4th, 2025. My name's John Kelsey. I'll be your moderator as usual, coming at you from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I will add my email to the screen, the video that we post, so anybody who catches the video and would like to join our list may do so. This is a free open event sponsored by Lancaster Area Woodturners, and we do a little club news before we go to look at work, and we have a video coming up if there's time from Dennis. But the club news is that the Lancaster Club meeting that was to have had on Tuesday this past will be next Tuesday. We had to cancel on account of rain, sleet, and snow. We didn't want people out skidding around on black ice. I also would like to let you know that the conversation we had about our dear departed friend Ben Kauffman, I sliced off as a separate little video and added in a lot of images of Ben and his work, a few little video clips into both the recording of the hour and as a separate little 6-7 minute video that are now out there posted on my site. If you want to look at that, put in Ben Kauffman, search the name Ben Kauffman, and it'll come up. Other club news?
Yeah, Nittany Valley Woodturners, we had our monthly meeting yesterday, and it was our holiday show. We had a President's Challenge, which was making ornaments, and we had some really beauties. But the best part was the kibasi and sauerkraut, the chili, all the cheese platters. Let's see, deviled eggs, cookies. It was a really good meeting. Everybody was pretty happy, and it lasted about an hour longer than normal.
Good on you. Other club news? Okay. Who's intending or wishing to show work today? I'm asking to know right now because we have a 20-minute video in queue from Dennis that I'd like to show. I put him off a couple of times already, and I'll let him introduce the topic. It's of general interest. Just so I know, so we can manage the time in the hour, who's eager to show us things today as well? Okay. Let's do you two guys, and then we'll go to give Dennis a chunk of time to show the video. Okay.
Hey, John, I can hold off. I mean,
okay. Well, I'm interested to see what Vasko has, so since he's on screen anyway. Go ahead, Ken. You're muted yourself now.
I usually do about one show a year, so I make a lot of Christmas ornaments, and I just want to show you some of the ornaments I've gone through. Show you some of the best sellers.
Oh yeah,
And,
we're
of course,
keen to see that.
Yeah, I think you've all seen these. They were at the club. These are the snowman. They're pretty popular. Sold a lot of those. Here's a couple more. You
Now,
see 'em
what
okay?
wood? Those look like mostly maple or sycamore?
They're whatever. They're fogwood, whatever I find around the shop, you know. So a lot of them are maple. I have a lot of maple right now, so that's what I try to go for if I can. Another big one is Christmas trees, and
Now you're selling those, the snowmen,
yeah, I'm selling those.
and the price?
Those are about $15 or $20 depending on size.
Okay, and the trees?
Here are some of the trees I make. This one here is zebra wood, which a friend gave me some to make a rolling pin out of. I had some spare parts, and it came out beautiful. And those are $20 and $25. There's some smaller trees. One is zebra wood. I tried to go with a kind of a mid-century modern look this year, and this one was very popular.
Huh.
Yeah, I was real happy with that. But the zebra wood really caught their attention, but you have to pay a little bit more for the zebra wood. And then I tried a spectral ply. I sell a few of these once in a while, but they're okay, but they don't do that well. And I tried something a little different this year. I tried to incorporate natural edge into it. I've been trying to think outside the box a little bit whenever I'm making stuff.
Love that one. Love it. Kelsey, that's
that was
fantastic.
Popular. I have different sizes, and yeah, this was apple actually, and I polished up the bark, and the bark stayed on, and it's real nice. So I was happy with it.
Now, how did those sell? Do people like those?
They're about a medium seller. They were okay. I also went and I like doing figures. I did some penguins. And they're all the Def or now Prolux finish. Here's a little guy. I added a new feature this year. I added feet.
Do you buff the deft?
No. I just usually. I notice now I apply some deft sanding sealer, lacquer sanding sealer, and that saves me a lot on the price of the deft because you only have to put one or two coats after that. I also do ornaments. Here's some of the ornaments. They're pretty popular. This egg shape got a lot of attention.
Are those hollow or solid?
No, they're just solid. I'm a production turner. I like one piece of wood and all the features on that one piece of wood. That way I don't have to slow down.
Okay, so what do you mean not slow down? How many of those do you make an hour?
I do them as production runs, so I usually do about 20 at a time, or 20 or 25, and I rough them out first, and then I do the next part, and then I do the next part. So it's kind of probably maybe 10, 15 minutes, I think, for
each one.
Yeah, for each one, especially the ones that have a lot of detail on spindles and things. So
yeah,
and I do like to use the skew. So I try to teardrop the Zehr, the raindrop, whatever those are. They came out nice.
Yeah, those are very attractive.
So I always like to have things a little bit different. Of course, I did the weed pots. Here's some weed pots. I went with natural edge again. They were kind of popular. And this one was the cherry, and this one I'm not sure what this one is. But they worked out real well. And one that got a lot of attention, but nobody bought because I put too high a price on it because I didn't really want to sell it. It was a little olive wood bowl, and there's a interesting story. It's got some beautiful, beautiful grain. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, and that olive wood figure won't fade in the UV light either, will it? Pretty much stays how it is for a long time.
And the funny story about this is I got this piece of wood at an auction. There was a bowl, and they had thrown in all these other bowls. And when I got them, there were these big, chunky pieces of bowls that were made. I didn't know what they were made of. I turned one of them over, and it said Trader Joe's olive wood. So, so what I did is I made a jam chuck, and I put a tenon on, or put a foot on it, and I turned it, and I took about 2/3 of the thickness out of the bowl. So the thing is, this finish, I wish you could feel it, but this is just so smooth. I don't think I've ever had anything as smooth as what this came out. Yeah. And all the bowls that I made of that were that same way.
Olive wood is lovely stuff if you can get it, yes.
Yeah, I really like the way the figure radiates from that hole. And if I want to put some cereal in it, I just put my finger in it, and then I can get my cereal out of it real well. So I've been busy guy, so it's all wound up. I had my show, and pretty happy with it. There wasn't a lot of traffic, but I sold well, so I was happy.
That's great stuff. Thanks very much.
Let me make one comment. There's somebody in our club that used to do a lot of shows and did small stuff, and among them was the bottle stoppers. And they made the comment that for out of 10 bottle stoppers, 9, the Coca-Cola ones always sold. Everything else rarely sold. So they came to the conclusion, why turn something that's not nearly as desirable, that you're going to carry back and forth to shows? Just stick with what sells. And that kind of stuck with me.
What's that? The 80-20 rule. Stick with the 20% that works for you. Forget the 80.
I agree with that, because I don't sell bowls hardly at all. Like all of what I do, they just don't sell. Boxes, I took one box. I sold one box, but they weren't real popular. I don't know why they just don't sell. They're not a holiday thing. People want to see shiny and bright, and I want them to come into my booth and go, "Aww," you know.
I had exactly the same experience. I did a show in August and one in November, not big ones, small ones, and ornaments were virtually the only thing it sold. I might have sold one bowl at each one. I think I sold a box one time, but boxes and bowls just don't sell like birdhouse ornaments. They tend. That's my favorite.
Bottles, wine stoppers, they don't sell very much anymore because the wine bottles are getting smaller in volume, and so I don't think people have them sitting around with a stopper anymore. They drink the whole bottle. And the other things that don't sell right now for me is pens. None of the pens sell. I have a stock that I keep, and I have like 8 left from years ago, and I just keep bringing it and hope somebody will buy it. The Boy Scouts that were helping out at the show, they were all interested in it, but they didn't want to pay the $50 for some of the pens.
Well, isn't it a matter of price more than anything else? I mean, the things you've been saying don't sell are all the things that would be priced higher than $10 or $20.
Yeah, I think maybe this year it was the economy or something, because people were kind of tight. I've had people take things and walk around with them and then put them back. So I think people this year are a little bit watching their money. I don't know why. That was the impression I got.
Hey, Ken, just to show you real quick, I've been starting to, every year I make a different thing for my neighbors and the family. I don't sell stuff. And this year I watched Tim Yoder video. I happened to come across of making this kind of tree hanging thing. I don't have it finished yet. I don't have the little hooks in the top, but I made it a spindle gouge learning experience. And
yeah,
man,
sure.
I'm making very unique.
Sure.
They're snowman icicles, what do you call them? And boy, am I diving in and cussing at the spindle gouge, but I'm learning. So
yeah, I've been trying to use the spindle gouge and skew a lot. And what I noticed is once you get into it, the muscle memory from previous years kind of kicks in, and you get, and the same with shapes too. Some some snowmen just don't look like snowmen when you're done. They look like three balls on top of one another. So you got to get that kind of a squish look to the snowman a little bit. And it takes a little while. Once you get it, like say you do 25 of them and you get pretty good. But I try to mix it up. Use the skew, use spindle gouge, use easy wood tools if I had to. So anyway, I had a lot of fun with it this year. That's my one indulgence. I make a lot of ornaments.
I admire anybody can do anything in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, I have the piece in the chuck. Okay, I mean, it ain't even close. As far as doing shows, I've done dozens of shows, and the day you walk in there and think you have the thing that's going to sell, you won't sell one of them, and you'll sell a dozen of something you had for a month. It just, you take your brain out of gear when you walk in there.
Yeah, I had the same experience. I had 7 mushrooms that I've been carrying around for a couple of years.
Yep.
Guess what? I sold out of the mushrooms this year. All 7 of them sold.
Been there, done that. I'll tell you, every time.
You can't predict. You're exactly right.
It's the same thing with the art show scene. I quit that in the early 2000s because I just got tired of carting all my artwork around not selling, and I was refusing to make tchotchke stuff that sold for $20. So that you got to do pocket change or it doesn't sell, and it's got to be 20 or less. So
what I find is that you can be at a craft fair, you sell something, you think, great, I'll make some more of those, and they're the ones that don't go next time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Hands down.
You end up making something else instead, and then something else sells. Oh, I'll make those, and they don't go. Oh, it's a nightmare when you're trying to sell at a craft fair. You really don't know what's going to go.
I got a half hour in everything I turn. I don't care if it's a toothpick. It takes me forever. I don't know how people do things in 10 minutes.
How do you price for that, for the half hour you got in it?
$30.
So the toothpick is $30.
Yeah, just you gotta figure. I was in business, and you know, when you're in business, you have to pay people to do everything. When you go buy a block of wood, you pay somebody to go and buy that block. That's part of what you're doing. When you're up there selling it and sitting there all damn day and pay $150 for a table, that's part of doing business.
You're absolutely right,
and
and that's
sell anything for under $30. You can't do it.
Oh, I if you sell for under $30, most of mine are 25 or below, and I just go volume. And if I try to turn it in 5, 10, 15 minutes, that usually I make the money and I'm happy with it. I'm not trying to get rich over this.
No, you're not gonna make a living doing that.
So what I like to do is I have shelving that I put up, foldable shelving that I all around. And when they come around the corner and they see my booth, I always have the snowmen looking at them. And they all go, oh, ooh, they got little winks on them, you know, little something cute to catch their attention. Then they'll walk around and they'll look at stuff. But,
what's the round hat on that one? Is that a hard hat? Or?
No, that's a tassel cap kind of a thing.
Just a little toque. Yeah, a little
stocking cap. Okay.
The back end.
Okay.
That one.
You'll have to show us a picture of your booth sometime, Ken.
Okay. All right, I can do that. It's small. It's nothing to brag about. But like I say, I do one show. Maybe this year I did 2, but it was part of the club. The club had a booth, and I put some of my stuff in that. And we made pretty good. We almost made $400 off for the club out of it. It was nice.
That snowman must be an Amishman. He has a bowl on to get his hair cut.
Wouldn't help you, Jim.
Like you do.
Me? No, I have to put the bowl on reverse because I shave the top. So.
Any more Christmas ornament comments that anybody would like to make? That's a cute one, Ken. The little ribbon helps too. It draws attention to it.
Yep. Looks like it's blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
I'll show you one before we go off. I'll just get up out my chair a minute.
Okay.
There we go. And I'll take you over, because I'm sitting in my front room today.
Oh, you've got your tree ornaments and everything, all the good English Christmas.
Can you see that one?
We're getting there. It's coming in the bottom. Looks like a little carousel or with lights on it.
Yep. I can't see what's happening there, but I hope
okay,
that's
I'm going to
on.
make that a spotlight so we get a good look at it. Okay, there you go. So it's a carousel with Santas and musicians, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, little boy on a sledge and Mother Christmas,
You carved them?
angels.
You carved those individuals?
No, I didn't, Jim.
Okay.
No, I bought those. I'm cheating.
Okay.
It's on a carousel, motorised carousel underneath.
What's the light?
They're little lights that you buy. The string or the wire is no more than 0.5 mil thick. And
The battery is with it, or where's the battery? Or does it plug in?
Did I silence him? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you probably muted him.
I'm sorry. Don, can you unmute again?
I see Michael Zehr in the wings with ornaments. We'll go to him in a minute.
I'm sorry, Don. I think I silenced you. Somebody was squawking and I went
Yeah, he's gone muted.
silencing.
You've got him muted. I'm going to pull off from that then, take the spotlight off of that. Great project from Don. There he is. But he's still muted. You're going to have to get back to your computer. I'm going to get Michael Zehr. Show us what you have there, Michael.
I've got a couple of this year's ornaments.
Are those hollow or solid?
Hollow, about 1/8 of an inch thick.
And what are you hollowing them through, the top or the bottom?
Both
Yeah,
to the top, basically.
yeah. And you make those, you sell them or make them for fun for family? What's the story?
Make them for family.
How many do you make?
About 20 at a time.
That's a pretty good batch. So how do you approach that?
I start off with this rectangle blank, and then put the make the balls with the
The Celtic knot or the swirl? Yeah.
right, and then I hollow that out, and then I turn the finials and caps.
So if you're going to make 20 of those, do you know how much stock you're going to need? You get all the blanks out at once?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Years of practice.
Okay. That's what I've been wrestling with. That I've been making runs of things, and it's like didn't prepare enough wood, and I like that, or I prepared too much wood. And now I got wood of a weird dimension.
Yeah.
How did you get the dart? You didn't glue up wood and wood, did you?
Yes, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I made
That's
a jig.
a lot of work.
I made a jig for the bandsaw.
That's still a lot of work.
It is.
So with the bandsaw jig, you saw the blank, right, on a curve? And
Yes.
Glue the veneer in, and then saw it on another curve and glue the veneer in?
Exactly.
And so then you end up with a square cubical block, rectangular block with the pattern embedded in it once you start to turn it into it.
Right.
What blade do you use to cut that?
I use a 1/4 inch by 10 bandsaw blade,
Yeah.
and then your filler has to be the exact width of the bandsaw blade, or they won't line up.
I'd love to see your jig, how you do that.
Yeah, that'd
That's
be an
very
interesting
nice.
jig to show.
I have to see if I
Michael
can do
gave
it.
me a couple of pieces a few years ago that he had already glued up, and I made a couple of ornaments. I have no idea where they're at now. Somebody has them. Thank you very much, Michael.
You're welcome.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good show. Thanks very much, Michael. Mike Brazeau, are you in this conversation? You want to start a new one?
Yeah. I was inspired by Thomas's demo for the Lancaster Club back in November when he did a Christmas tree. So I grabbed some screenshots. I really love this shape. I got at this a couple of weeks ago on a rainy Saturday afternoon. Got to get back to it. When Ken was talking there, a number of the shapes that he's got, I've been picking off. I'm hoping to try and put together a little grouping of trees that could be a table center or something like that. But this was an interesting with some Manitoba maple or box elder, or I might call this piece Canadian holly. It was really white. I had milled this in 2006, and I think I did it when the tree had been first cut, so it was really white. But as I was turning it, I had right here at the top, it was actually about this much higher, and I had about a half an inch of wood left that was between centers. And as soon as I took the tailstock away, the whole thing moved about a quarter inch and actually split off. So I was able to rescue it. I had to reshape it, and I still had this piece in I put it in a chuck and drilled a hole in it, and then made a 1/8 fitting, glued the ball on, and shaped the ball with sandpaper after gluing it on. So this was a 15-minute project that turned into an hour.
Well, that's a good shape.
But anyway, I love this shape. I think I'm going to dye it. And
I was going to ask you about that. Would you dye it green, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
cool.
Almost as close to holly. There's no grain showing. It's just it's just I've never seen anything like it. Anyway.
Well, very
That's
nice.
fun.
Okay, let me see. I have to get my views sorted out here. Hold on a second. Back to the gallery here. I see Michael Zehr put up a slide where I've lost it now. Of a kind. I don't want to let him go without looking at that. Here's why can't I get this to come up? Anyway, it looks like he's gone. A nice slide of a nice weed pot there. Lost that. Sorry about that. I want to give Dennis a chance to show his video at 1/2 hour, but you want to sneak in here, Duxbury?
Real quick.
Yeah.
This is
You're still in ornaments, so yeah.
I'll show an ornament. This is 8 segments. Actually, I make the base of this, or the outside of this, I make a full size one, and then cut it in half. So I get 2 ornaments out of one turning. This is an inside out turning.
And is that hollow or is that heavy? I mean, how much that weigh?
No, this is solid.
Yeah.
But
that's also a good idea. It looks like a spinning dancer. Good, cool.
You get 2 ornaments out of one. This is another one made out of mahogany. But that's another way to cut your costs. Once you make this globe, you've got the inside out turning. All you do is cut it in half and put a finial on both sides, and you still got to get $40, $50 for one of these, but they do sell sooner or later.
Huh. Very cool.
You dyed the wood.
No, this is a mahogany, and
okay.
The bottom's painted with some kind of glitter paint.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking about. Yep. Okay.
Cool. You can see it better on this one.
Hey, by the way, yeah. Ooh, okay. Are you using iridescent paints there, Jim?
No,
Okay.
just a glitter paint.
Okay.
But it's I don't know if you can see the segments. It's in 8 segments.
Okay. No, we don't see the segments. Now I see them. Yeah, I can see them. I was wondering how you were going to do that. Good work. Very clever.
Jim, that's why you can't do anything in half an hour or 10 minutes. You make such elaborate stuff.
Anyway.
Well, Jim needs a metric hour. That's all. 100 minutes in a metric hour.
You got it. Go ahead.
I have a word for Don. Don from England. Thank you for your showing the club stuff the other week, because I made some, or am in the process of making some, of that Christmas trees that you turn on a bowl and then cut chunks out like a pie. My wife loved them.
So, good deal. You mean the German ring turning style? That got some good.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah, ring turning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
Jim.
I'm admiring Don's tree in the background there. That's the kind of English Christmas tree I remember that we had when I was a kid, colors, lots of colors and like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, Belcher, let's do your video. Let's introduce it and tell us why we're going to watch it and what are you trying to do with it.
Yeah, this is an amazing group, and I'm amazed at what you all come up with, and you actually helped me start this whole project going back about a year now, and our club had a situation where we're running out of local demonstrators, so the budget wasn't balancing real well. So I got onto a training a demonstrator kick. And you all and a coffee hour that we devoted to that topic really was a big step forward. Since that time, I've developed it more, and I ran into a problem. If I'm going to try to do a demonstration skills for woodturners at a symposium, I got an hour and a half slot, and you can't cover it all in an hour and a half. So what I elected to do is to take specific chunks, specific topics, and make separate videos about them. You all have seen one, which was the checklist for the morning day of a demonstration. Well, this particular segment is 9 minutes and 53 seconds. And really what it's directed towards is techniques for brand new turners, people who are going to give their first wood turning demonstration. And without further ado, I'm just going to run the video. And we'll talk about it a minute or two afterwards. As soon as I get, oops, I did it wrong. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, you got to share screen. And
it always disappears on me is my problem.
Yeah.
Here we go. Share.
Hey,
got it.
Welcome to the channel.
We got it?
Today, I want to talk to those of you who are thinking about giving your very first.
We need volume up.
Yeah, turn the volume up, please.
Club has asked you to demonstrate because they've seen some of the things you brought into this show and tell, or maybe it's simply at the point where you'd like to share your own skills with a group at large. But the thought of standing up there and demonstrating, actually making it in front of a group of people, makes you nervous. Well, I got news for you. It doesn't have to make you nervous. It doesn't have to intimidate you. There's some tips and techniques which I'm going to share with you in this short video, which allow you to have that demonstration to turn out well. And you might actually find that you really enjoy demonstrating to others and sharing what you've learned with other folks, with other fellow turners. The first strategy is you don't have to turn on the lathe. Make your project at home, and each step in the sequence, take some pictures, take lots of pictures, and then sit down and work through the pictures and kind of make notes to yourself of what you should say to describe what the picture is showing at that particular stage of the sequence of making your project. Then on the day of the meeting, you come in with all those images, you project those up there on the screen, and you simply sit there and go through each image, describing to the audience at large exactly what you're doing at that stage. Now, what this does, it removes the whole problem of trying to talk and also think about turning. It removes the whole risk of a nasty catch. And so it really works, and it can be very enjoyable. So that's your first potential strategy. Another fantastic strategy is to team up with a more experienced turner and have him join you on the stage. In effect, you kind of do a tag team. You talk about what you're going to make. You start the project, and as you get to those points where you get a little bit harder, a little bit more dangerous, where you're more likely to have a catch, basically you let the master turner come in, finish that part of the project, turn it back to you, you do the next stage, he comes in, and he goes back to you, and you create a tag team between the two of you. But what that does, it takes the pressure off of you as the demonstrator. While he's working on something, you get a period of time there where you can allow yourself to calm back down. And what the audience sees is kind of an increased dynamic, an increased motion. It means a lot of good things. So consider partnering up with some other turner as you give your demonstration. Practice does make perfect. Before you actually give your demonstration in front of an audience, do it at home and record it. Now, you've got a cell phone that has quite good video camera on it, or a USB camera, or a laptop that has a camera. Doesn't have to be a good video, but what you want to do is record yourself as you go through and do a practice demonstration. And when you get done, sit down, review it, make notes, things you did well, things you need to improve. Oh, I forgot to do that. Always happens, all right? And then incorporate those into the actual demonstration. This process of recording your practice demonstration and then reviewing them will dramatically improve your confidence and delivery and what is presented to your audience. So practice does help, but you got to use today's technology to help you get there. Next tip is start small. Don't jump straight into a demonstration before the full club. You know, some clubs have setups where it's pretty intimidating. I mean, where it's a big amphitheater and the seats are up high and they're all looking down at you. Don't start that way. You know, invite a couple of your fellow turners over to your own shop and give it a practice run. You know, ask them to give you honest feedback about what you did well, what could be improved. The smaller, friendlier setting really helps you work out any kinks before before the main event. This next one I really like. Disarm your audience. It's a powerful psychological trick. Be upfront and be honest about it being your first demonstration. Tell your audience right at the start and ask them to give you feedback of what you did well, what you messed up on after the meeting. And you tell them you would really like to have some feedback because you'd really like to get better. Now, when you ask people for help, funny things happen. They actually do become your friend, become supportive of you, all right? And you're just being honest with them. But the other thing that you've done is you've taken their expectations and you've lowered them. So it's kind of easy to give a first demonstration that exceeds their expectations because you already lowered the bar. Not bad, good little thing to do. Changes the dynamic in your favor tremendously. Plan for Murphy. You know Murphy, the guy that always shows up? You know, anything that could go wrong always goes wrong? That's Murphy. He's always going to be in the room. You know, nothing you can do about it. He's going to be there. But what you can do to disarm Murphy is to plan for it. You know, common issues include your piece comes out of the chuck and goes flying across the room. Hopefully it doesn't hit anybody. The lathe blows the fuse and the room goes dark. That's a good one. Your tools don't behave as expected. You got a dull one when you didn't think you would have, or you forgot it. Something always happens. Well, there is a solution to minimize Murphy's impact on you and your demonstration. Have backup pieces for each person. Have backup pieces for each stage ready to go. As you work through your script, figure out the danger spots. And then those danger spots, be prepared with a backup piece so that you can get through those dangerous spots without ruining your entire demonstration. And quite frankly, there's a second little secret weapon you can use with Murphy, and that's a little humor to go along with your planning. And, you know, if you do it right, if your humor's good, you can actually turn Murphy's experience, Murphy reaching his fingers out and messing you up, into the most memorable parts of the demonstration. So plan for Murphy and get him defeated for me, will you? Next thought is about your nerves. Let's talk about it. Quite frankly, they're normal. Everyone is nervous when they get up in front of a group of people to start. And I don't care how much that you've talked to people over your career, a first wood turning demonstration is different than things that you have done before, and it's highly likely you're going to be nervous. So I'll give you two thoughts about how to manage those nerves. The first thing is to realize it's going to happen. And the second thing, what I like to do is I like to get in the room early before anybody shows up, and I just sit there in the back. You know, I look at the chairs, I look at the room, I look at the stage setup, and I find as I do that, my mind just kind of, it gets to the point where it just kind of accepts my surroundings. So I don't feel like I'm walking into a strange place. And as I do that, my nerves come down and down and down. Okay, a second strategy is don't fight your nerves, rechannel them. Take that nervous energy, put it into your demonstration, wave your hands, be more dynamic. And it's amazing what happens to nervousness. If you're doing like this, guess what happens? You settle down and you give a really good demonstration. Don't be afraid to be dynamic, because that helps your confidence and it actually makes the demonstration better. I think also it's very important that we remember that your audience is friendly. You know, they really do want you to succeed. They love wood turning. You will love wood turning. They want to watch the magic of a hunk of wood becoming something overnight. Over an hour period of time, it goes from nothing to something that's marvelous, and they can take home and show to their loved ones. All right, they're on your side from the moment you start. Remember that; it's important. And the last point I'd make about your first demonstration is it's really kind of magical what happens over time, is that as you become more experienced, you discover that actually teaching others and sharing your enthusiasm about wood turning becomes just as rewarding, if not more rewarding, than creating a masterful piece. So don't hold back in the first demonstration. Use these strategies, be prepared, and remember, everyone that you've seen demonstrated had a first demonstration just like you. You're gonna be great. Now, if this video has helped you feel more confident and comfortable in giving a demonstration, please do give me a thumbs up down below and join my channel. There'll be other segments coming out over the next several months. Thank you very much. And keep that wood curl flying.
All right.
Well, I would encourage everyone to share that. Am I all the way off of the share?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm interested in people's comments.
Dennis, you might put the link in the chat, or it's YouTube, and they search under your name.
Well, yeah. What I would like to have, I would suggest, if you find this worthwhile for your own clubs, for new demonstrators, or people who are trying to figure out whether they can do it or not, that's a great place for that. The other thing that struck me after I got done with this video and conversations with John, so those techniques aren't necessarily for brand new turners. The other thing that happens to us at certain points in our lives is, the hands don't work as well, or the project is too big. So that first technique of taking pictures and showing how you made something that's too large to actually bring in before a camera. I mean, that's a very valid technique for all of us. But again, you can find that on my website, dennisbelcher.com. Over on the far side where there's the handouts, and it's there, or it's on my YouTube channel. And Mike, I haven't got to your list yet, but I will, to make it the YouTube channel better. But Dennis Belcher Woodturner, you'll also find that post there. Any comments, any suggestions? Love to hear them.
I think that it was spectacular, actually. I think I'm going to try to show it at one of our club meetings here, because we're always trying to get demonstrators, as you well know. But the one thing I did notice when, I think maybe you covered it in another area, but preparation, like clean your mask for your face shield, bring extra cords, extension cords, because you never know what kind of extension cords you're going to get there. Use, like I said, sharpen your tools. Those kind of things. Just kind of clean your smock. There's smock that you're wearing, put it in a washer. Those little kinds of things. They make you feel more confident, because I'm prepared. Maybe I'm over prepared, but I like to be prepared. So just those little kinds of things.
Those are good points, Ken. There's a point there that we, as a demonstrator, you depend upon the club to have a setup that has the cords and has this and has that. But to your point is, some clubs don't have that. And you're scrambling, and all of a sudden your anxiety level gets higher and higher because you can't concentrate on the demonstration because the microphone's not working. Yeah.
Exactly. Even have like a pointer a pencil or something you've made so you can point to things to show them with close-ups. That's a good idea.
The other thing, I will be giving the 90 minutes on demonstration skills for woodturners at Totally Turning in March, and also at the National Symposium in Raleigh in June. And I would encourage. I don't know how far are you from Saratoga Springs, Ken?
Some of us are a couple of hours.
State College.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Come in State College.
So 3 or 4 hours.
I know where that is, but I don't know how many miles that is.
Well, it'd be 3 or 4 hours up to Albany. It's up to Albany, almost Albany.
Yeah, it's about probably about 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, a good thought. Thank you for that. Thank you. Anybody else comments?
Dennis, go ahead.
What I feel is that it's what you've just shown is great, but it's not just for beginners. It's for experienced turners who still have that anxiety of standing up in front of somebody. That will help them as well as any newbie beginning to start.
It's a refresher course, right, Don?
Correct.
Well, you got a point there, and I get it. I mean, if you do a demonstration every other year, you never really become experienced. You're always a beginner. That's a good nuance. That is very true.
Yeah.
Dennis, I liked your tag team one, but I would add an alternative version of that. And I go back to a video John did of Doug and I together. Doug was showing me how to do coring. And I was like the guy who didn't know. I was the newbie. I was the sidekick. Okay. And it allowed me to ask those questions which somebody in the audience might have asked. In other words, let the master do it, but then let me say, well, why'd you do that, or that kind of stuff. Instead of doing it becomes a sidekick. But
it's a different style of demonstration, yes, which can be quite good.
Yes.
Because the shill asks all the questions that should be asked, but nobody ever raises their hand.
Right.
Yeah.
And you would want to arrange that ahead of time, probably with that person. Make sure you ask me about this and that and that. For me, when John was doing that, it came natural because I had genuine questions about coring, particularly with the McNaughton system.
Well, that's your best bet.
Was using.
That's your best bet, is to have a shill who actually would be in the audience, whether it's the cameraman or somebody else. You were a perfect foil in that situation because you wanted to know. You were there eager to keen to know, and all I had to do is aim the camera.
Well, it's the same in meetings, isn't it? You've got people, your audience is there, all your club members are there, and they won't answer a question because they think it's a stupid question. But if you've got a little stooge in there that you've discussed it with, he can ask the questions, and get the answers. And some say, oh, I should have asked that, but they won't because they're afraid that they would show up there, that they couldn't answer the question because they think they're going to be an idiot.
That's a real good point, Don, for the simple fact that every week I teach a class at a local high school, and these students, they don't ask questions. They're high schoolers. I prompt the teacher to actually ask questions.
Yep.
And there's incidents in a classroom setting like that. Like I said, every week for 2 hours I teach. And there's, in this particular situation last year, I had, the first thing I do is I teach safety, and then the next portion is, the actual woodwork. Well, in this particular case, the bulb length that I had glued up with a piece on the bottom for an attachment threw a chunk in my face. Ooh. It caught it, threw it into my face, and I was able to stop. And everybody saw it, and they all went, ooh, and I stopped the lathe, and we talked safety for about 3 or 4 minutes. At no time the rest of that semester did I have the students not put their face shield on. They saw the reason why they wear a face shield, and it was great.
I would expand this into the you guys who are demonstrators. A sidekick to it would really be helpful. And Dennis made another point. You can't always talk about what you're doing and concentrate on your doing. That involves a certain kind of skilled person.
Ziegler and I did a tag team like that one time. Well, he did the turning. He was demonstrating basic turning of bowl turning, and I did the talking.
Yeah.
And then when he got back, was not turning, he talked. But while he was turning, I talked about what he was doing, and answered questions just in the course of the yak, because we had rehearsed. We'd rehearsed together and rehearsed what he was going to do and what he wanted to have said about it, and how we could convey the information in the cleanest way. It was fun. I thought it was not a bad demo.
Yeah, this is an amazing group. Every time that we get discussions like this, I'm making notes. And what we're really saying is that if you have a tag team, you've also increased the activity on the stage.
Yeah, you solved a lot of problems with a tag team.
Keeps people engaged more.
Yeah,
right?
A tag team with props solves a lot of problems as well.
Yeah.
You do slides, I do props. You see, I don't want to turn in front of the audience either. So I'll have a prop that shows this is what it's like now, and here's what I'm going to do, and here's what it's like when I'm done with that, and here's what I'm going to do. So I can show one cut. I don't have to do the whole turning to get from stage to stage.
Yeah, Gerald has had his hand up.
Yeah, we're going to Gerald and David Belial. We both quiet guys who also have deep things to say. Gerald, you're on.
I just want to say something real quickly about our local meetings over the years. Ted Rasmussen and Keith Lauterbaugh always had excellent handouts to give out at the end. Really enjoyed that, and I still have some of them.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's true. Thank you, Dave.
They shouldn't give them out at the end. They should give them at the beginning.
No, actually, that whole world's changed, but we're going to run out of time. So let's hear what Gerald's point is.
Well, John and I have spoken about this before, and that's his ability to be a great moderator for this group. And so it leads right into some of your comments there too about having an additional person that's working with you either as a shill or as a partner. So that's, I think, very important.
Yeah, shill's not a good word. I don't know what the better word is.
Moderator is the right word. That's what I do here. I ask whenever anybody's showing stuff, I ask the questions I have, which happen to be the questions many of you have. That's the role, and it's an easy role to play. It's fun.
I want to go back to the handouts comment that was made for a minute. This world has changed. It used to be you go to the copy place and you get 25 copies of your handouts. Taken to the club meeting, they had 37 people there, right? Always. All right. So now we don't do that. What it is PDFs.
Sure.
But the problem is about half the time the program, if you send the PDF to the program director well in advance of the meeting, they don't get disseminated to everybody.
No, and you gotta print it out. There's nothing like a piece of paper in your hand. A PDF is not a substitute for a piece of paper.
Well, I'm going to suggest that really what has the gold standard today is that you have those PDFs on your own website. You have the video version of the PDF on the website.
Sure.
So really what you're doing is you're saying, go to my website, dennisbelcher.com, go over to the far side. It says demonstration handouts, and there's the demonstrations I do, and there's all the handouts, right? So you backstop, or I've not had good luck with program directors getting stuff out before the meeting. So I've kind of gone to a different way of doing it, realizing that making the copies never work because you never got the money right, and you're just throwing away money. The website is a lot better.
What I do is I print them out on my own inkjet printer, so all I'm doing is putting out just pieces of paper and cheap non-branded ink. So I don't care if I make extras. That's my answer to you on that one. You gotta
Okay.
have a piece of paper.
Old school, old school.
Old school is right.
It works sometimes. It works sometimes. Hey, John.
Hankinson's is trying to get in here too. Let's give him a shot.
Okay, go ahead.
Jeff.
Just comment that for a little while in our club, what I would do, I'd offer if somebody was demonstrating to stand beside the lathe, because they're trying to focus on doing their turning.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to do turning beforehand, but if they're trying to focus on doing a turning, and I could see, you know, what they were doing and sort of interpret that for the people out in the audience as they were going along, like a play-by-play. That was reasonably well received. Bert might want to comment on that. For a very experienced turner like Bert, he doesn't need somebody like me. But if somebody is new to demonstrating, and you know it always goes wrong, so if you can really concentrate on doing your turning, if you're doing something interesting, but there's lots of educational points to be made about how they're handling this skew or how they're handling this or that or turning that or why they're doing it as they're doing it. I thought that added value to a lot of things.
That's
I totally agree. Wonderful idea.
That's
Thank
that
you.
moderator role of made not so much as asking questions as delivering the script while the guy turns. Yeah.
Dennis, I have a question for you. I've gone to people and asked them to do demos, and our club has a lot of members who have lost their social filter. So there's a lot of criticism and negative comments, and I think a lot of the demonstrators commented on that. How would you address that?
Well, there's two things you do. First, in my normal presentation, I talk about what do you do with questions from the audience, that's a variation of that whole problem. And the real key is you have to anticipate them. You already have to have your answers figured out, right? So that you can just whip it out as it's called for. The second thought I have is on the website, one of the clubs, Chattanooga. Is that right, Mike? Were you involved in that? There's a evaluation sheet for demonstrators. And so what you're trying to do is to take those negative comments and make them into some kind of a positive feedback for the demonstrators so they can get better. And maybe it becomes, are you still president up there, Ken?
Yes.
All right. Maybe when you get one of those kind of comments coming out of the audience, you got to take control and you say, hey, Bob, fill out the criteria. You got to help your new demonstrator.
That's another part of the moderator role. There's two pieces there. One is to restate the question, because especially if you're on video, the people who are remote probably didn't hear it. And the other is to cope with people who are going to be belligerent and without even realizing it on behalf of the demonstrator. I mean, we've got a couple of guys who they're going to heckle you no matter what, and it would be really good to get them off your back, off the demonstrator's back.
And I would say to you, as the club leaders, you have a responsibility to tell those people that they're kind of over the line and they're intimidating new demonstrators, and your club needs demonstrators because you don't really want to have to raise the dues to bring in the type of person who can stand that kind of abuse. I mean, really, it comes down to the club president, the club program director. Sometimes you got to help.
Sometimes you do.
One of the techniques I've found that helps a lot, like there's mumbling going on in the background, I'll walk over and I'll put my hand on the shoulder of one of the persons, and that usually quiets them down. I don't even have to say a word, and that usually works pretty well. And it's gotten to a point where they see me walking towards them, they stop.
Well, the other thing I want to do the next segment on is on the audio. Hearing's a funny thing. Typical audience, everybody out there is going to have a hearing issue, and just being louder doesn't solve the problem, because the range of audio hearing problems is huge. And so I'm going to kind of focus on that and talk about that. But sometimes the people who are mumbling, they're not being able to hear what's going on in the stage, or the demonstrator hasn't kept their attention, which is, perhaps part of the problem. I don't know. Okay, anybody else up there?
Yeah,
Well,
a couple of minutes.
John, I think what my model of what I'm suggesting is like Johnny Carson's and his sidekick.
Always had a sidekick. Yeah.
I forget. I would call it a sidekick instead of a moderator or anything, because it adds an element of drama. It could include the humor you referred to, Dennis, in one of your points.
Yeah.
And if you work together like that, you know how to interject that stuff.
So here,
then you got to pay 2 people.
Again, remember this is
club demos. We don't pay them. We do club demos because it's fun.
Members, in all the clubs, you got to have local demonstrators.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford to bring in outsiders all the time.
Yeah.
And I got to give one other shout out before we get out of the last 49 seconds. But Mr. Bowman has been extremely helpful to me in becoming more, I wouldn't say competent yet, but a lot better in the world of video. And as I watch that video, Jim, yes, that background has changed. You know that now. Thank you, sir.
I'm going, man, that sucks. I thought I told him to get rid of that. So, jeez.
Yeah, I think you were helping me with that one, and you gave me that criticism. Then I took care of it. So we now have a totally different background. So.
Thank you, Dennis. It's been fun.
Another note on doing presentations. I'm really, really fortunate. I've got a Stu Bremner or Jeff Hankinson or Jerry Lindbergh. They're classic hecklers. If I'm up there doing a demonstration, I can always count on them saying something that I forgot. I thank you guys so much.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah. And Bowman, I've been billing you as co-host here on this show for a little while now, and some of the videos. You want to be a sidekick instead?
Whatever.
Or you could be Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
Hey,
thank you. I was trying to think of his name.
Bert, what you have to do is you get started in your demonstration, and then you stop, and you say to the audience, "Look, right now, I want my hecklers to come in, and let's get it out of the way, guys. Come on."
Yeah, bring it. Yeah, bring it on.
Pick it up and move on.
Bring it on and get over it. Yeah. And on that note, since we're past the hour, we do like to stick within our hour here. That's the commitment. I'll see you all next week. Great show today.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. See you later.
Bye, y'all.
Cheers.
Wood shop. Thank God for wood.